Hey, it's your buddy Fractured Logic here. So I think it's about time I weighed in on a particular issue. Transgenderism. Okay. Due to the complexities of the human mind, I firmly believe that it is possible to actually be transgender. One of my own children is transgender. He's transitioning from female to male. It took a little bit of getting used to, but I'm okay with it. I really am. What I'm not okay with is the indoctrination of young children who don't even know the difference between a PP and a hootie-hoo. And that's the problem that's going on in a lot of schools in this country now. Especially, very heavily liberal states like California and New York. They're teaching 7 and 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds that they need to be the other gender. Not that it's okay to be the other gender. They're teaching them that they need to be the other gender. And that's wrong. Until you have reached the height of puberty, you cannot tell me that you should be the other gender. You might be able to tell me that you're attracted to the other gender, or to the same gender, I should say. But just because you like guys and you're a guy doesn't mean you should transition into a woman. That being said, I follow Blair White, who happens to be transgender, male to female. And again, my child is transitioning from female to male. And that's okay. What's not okay is forcing the ideas of transgenderism on the general public and the general populace and children. That is not okay. Teach them facts, like the world is round. And the sun provides heat. And gravity exists. And 2 + 2 is 4. Teach them those fundamental truths. And when they're older, parents can be responsible and teach children about sex, about gender, about identity. Once those children have grown up to the point where they can actually form their own opinion. Personally, I think we need a law in this country, and it should be that you're not allowed to go through any kind of transitional period until you're at least 16. Because at that point, you've had a biological chance to actually come into your own as far as hormones and personality development and your ability to make cognitive decisions. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to say that you can't be gay or you can't be transgender or any of that stuff. That stuff is okay. I'm a firm believer in that. I kind of lean to the left on that kind of thing. I'm not heavily religious. I believe there is an entity out there that created the universe because something had to cause the Big Bang to happen to begin with. But it's there's nothing wrong with being transgender. There's nothing wrong with being homosexual. There's nothing wrong with being a straight white male. Do we teach children the Holocaust when they're 5 years old? Do we teach children about World War II when they're 5 years old? About homicide? These are all negative things. Well, they hold negative connotations, I should say. They're facts of history. So why are we teaching transgenderism to little kids? That's not okay. Provide a fair, objective point of view on the universe. Teach them the basics of science and mathematics and English and what have you. Do not push an agenda of supporting a ridiculous notion. I'm sorry, but at 10 years old, you don't know that you're supposed to be a girl. Whether you are biologically a girl or biologically a boy. You don't know that. Your brain hasn't developed enough. There's still neurons and chemicals and hormones and shit firing around in your body that helps to determine that stuff. And in most normal people, they will remain the gender that they were born as. Again, there are exceptions. There are people that are born into the wrong gender. I believe that. Human mind is so freaking complex, we can't even begin to comprehend the breadth of it, okay? Now, as far as gender goes, I have friends that identify as pansexual and things like that, and that's not really gender, you know, that's sexual preference. That's a different thing. But people that identify as non-binary, I'm sorry, but that goes down to biology. I still believe there's two genders. There's male and there's female. You can transition from male to female or female to male. Okay. But this whole non-binary, I identify as this or that or that or this, no. I'm sorry. Much love to all of you out there. But you're one or the other. There's only two options in our species. Pretty much any species. With a few exceptions like toads that can switch anytime they want. But again, that's still only two genders. They switch from male to female to male. So that's kind of transgenderism as it is. So, you know, that occurs in nature. You get what I'm getting at here? You can be the wrong gender, but there's only two. That's just how I see it. You know, again, if you identify as non-binary, I'm not hating on you or anything. You know, I just don't agree with it. You know, you're either one or the other. All right. That's all I got. Toodles.